Hi guys, I'm Kenza and welcome back to Mind Over Meta IO. Today I'll be speaking to you guys about why failures are actually to your advantage. And it's so interesting to learn about how successful people actually have so much failure behind them, and that's one of the reasons for their success. So before starting Mind Over Meta, I actually didn't know this, and I thought honestly successful people just meant they made decisions better and used their time and money more efficiently. But after speaking to so many CEOs and entrepreneurs and just different people in the industry, I realized something completely different. And it's that these successful people don't avoid failure, they just know how to use it better. And one thing that keeps coming up in every conversation and in every interview is the reason behind success. And there's usually a version of their product or service that they had it originally that just didn't end up working. And that's actually way more normal than you would expect. And I thought the same. I didn't think that was quite normal. And a lot of founders and CEOs have actually told me that failure wasn't the end or a point where they gave up, but it's actually a point where they got clarity. Because when something doesn't work, it forces you to adapt and think of a better solution. And you normally ask yourself questions like, what am I missing here? Like, what do I need to do differently? Who am I actually building for? Who's my target audience? What do I specifically need to change to make this better? And that's where the real learning actually starts happening. And I've also noticed a pattern. The founders who grow the most are the ones who don't take the failures personally. They treat it almost like data. They treat it as if they're just pivoting and adjusting to make their original thing 10 times better. And that's something you see across many entrepreneurial journeys. The ability to adapt is what really separates people. The people that when they fail, they give up and they're like, this isn't gonna work, are the ones who end up being unsuccessful. The ones who are like, I know this is a great idea, I just need to know what is wrong and how I can fix it, are the ones that end up being successful. Another thing that stood out to me is a lot of failures don't come from a lack of effort. They just come from things like not understanding the target audience, not understanding what customers actually want, or not testing the products enough and there being a small error in the actual product, or being too attached to their original idea where they don't want to change it even if it's not the right thing. And hearing that actually changed how I thought about building. And hearing this news actually changed how I thought about building, because it made me realize that failure is never your sign to just stop, it's your sign to adjust. It's almost like feedback on how you can do better. It'll only help you, honestly. Even for me, with small things I've tried in the past, like selling different products, if it didn't work, it taught me more than the ones that did work, if that makes sense. So now instead of asking myself, what if it fails? What if it doesn't do well? What if people don't like it? I think of better questions like, how can I improve it? What will I learn if it doesn't work? How can I adjust from that? Because every founder that I've spoken to, whether they're building something or just starting or continuing a new idea, one thing is normally always common, and that's that they just kept going. Not because everything worked perfectly, not at all. Just because they learned from what they did originally and they just kept working from that. And those are the successful people, and those are the ones that are the real founders and the real CEOs, because failure is not the opposite of success. It's just a pathway to success, and it's how you get to success. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you guys next time.